give us something and they'd supply something, we
So
supply.
what, do you remember what they did when they tore down the old, hospital? Did the county pay for that, or did they trade it?
I can't remember, Dale.
But we get.
I can't remember either, so.
Sweetheart
free
deal.
pickup days at one
Yeah, you
time.
had cleanup days.
For the
Yeah.
landfill.
Yeah.
In support of the community.
Yeah, that's true there.
I mean, I personally don't see an issue with this. I mean, the cleanup committee, we beautify the Ruth area, I think it'd be in the best interest.
I move we recommend to the city council that they waive the landfill fee for this.
We have a motion, and a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Public comment? No public comment. Move on to item number 3, Councilman Allworth, discussion for possible action. Recommendation to direct city staff to prepare a resolution lowering landfill charges for businesses that travel to Ely to provide a service that may not be available in the city of Ely. These businesses must be licensed by the state of Nevada and obtain a city of Ely non-resident business license.
Thank you and good morning. I put this on there, there was a company that came in out of Vegas. Because of Ely's isolation, there are some services we can't get or not on a timely matter. You know, I mean, there may be available in the city, but due to an expeditious manner, they can't get it, so these people come in and they provided a home inspection is what it was. They paid their, even though they were licensed by the state, and I believe the city code says if you're licensed by the state, you don't need a business license because you're licensed by the state. I could be wrong on that, such as auditors and attorneys, so forth. But they did pay the city business license, and they were assessed a monthly landfill fee of $48.99 a month for the full year of $588. This business had come into town, they stayed in a motel, or just come in, do a house inspection and leave. And any of their trash they were left would have either been left at the motel or the gas station and so forth. They did not generate abundances, maybe tissue, that's about it. But you look at their home inspection, home appraisers come into town. I think they're coming in under the radar. We never know when they're at or what they're doing. And I've seen around HVAC contractors working, you know, they got out-of-town licenses, and they come into town, they work on the business, they take the gas or freon back with them, they're in and out. You know, they're once again, they're probably state licensed, I don't know how that works, but you know, we get on top of that. But I think what happens on this one particular company out of Vegas, they said, thank you, we did not have to do the business license, we did it, but we're losing on any profit, if any, on almost a $600 landfill charge. And even though they're not here, they got to keep paying it monthly. So entertaining the idea for the, like mentions, to have the staff look at lowering that. And Mr. Chad just had an idea, if they're in town that month, pay that monthly $48.99 a month, or a lower rate. I mean, again, they're not generating nothing. They're not leaving a bunch of trash behind. It's all being picked up by the hotels or the service stations, convenience stores. So that's why that's on here to look at it. You know, Building Inspector Christensen had some comments, so he could be able to input some in a staff meeting and so forth. So that's why I put that on there. I think due to our isolation, people come to do their due diligence. Well, we'll come to either what's going to cost us. And then you go, and landfill, well, I'm not leaving nothing behind. And that's what's turning people away. We need to invite these businesses to come help or do our isolation.
But if they're not tearing anything down or building anything, they're not creating any garbage.
Correct.
So why should they have to pay a landfill fee? I mean, you look at
It's incorporated in a business license, so.
I mean, you have so many coming in that would be like a nightmare for the city. And I mean, you have auditors for a lot of businesses. You have, you know, I mean, there's hundreds, I bet you, that you don't even know that come in. But they don't do anything.
You don't do anything.
No, they're not creating any garbage or tearing anything down.
You got businesses here that
You
do
know,
the same.
an auditor comes to town, or an attorney, we got a lot of attorneys in and out of this town, but they're licensed by the state, and I believe the city code, I should have brought that with me. They're not required to get a business license.
Okay.
But some of the auditors, I know, for example, Robert Moore, when he was the city's auditor, he bought a business license because he not only did the city, the railroad, but done a lot with other people too. But, and again, I should maybe check his landfill, I don't know if he paid that or not. Because once again, he's just sitting in a building here, throwing his garbage in our trash bins, but that's why I think we need to look at this with these, again, it's different if you're traveling, coming into town, building a shed, and you got timber that's gonna end up in the landfill. But these ones doing more, mostly clerical or inspections. I know there was a gal from Eureka coming to town a lot, doing, appraisals. Next thing you know, here's a bid. She didn't even have a business license, because she was state licensed. You know, so these people that own up to the fact that we want to support, they were from you, this couple we're talking about, they want to support it, but then they had to quit coming because of the $600 a month landfill bill. They might have came to town once or twice, they're not coming at all no more now.
You know, Jim, the only thing, when I read this, though, it's not talking about professional services, it just says, you know, businesses that travel to Ely, which could be construction, could be anything. Okay, so I think you need to be a little bit more specific of what you're referencing, because obviously, if you've got a contractor that comes in that generates landfill, then it may be contributed to be the business that travels to Ely.
True, and then that may just be a wording thing, you're right there, John.
You know, I
But,
mean,
you know, there's contractors in town, you know,
Yeah.
building contractors, and this time we've got contractors from out of town in here because there's no other, but they go through the whole business license, protocol, I guess you might want to call it. They're gonna have to have this, and this. And the main contract, for example, the Holiday Inn Hotel, they paid a horrendous landfill bill for all the demolition. So
yeah,
that's
I
kicked into that.
definitely see what you're going with here, and I do have a tendency to agree. My only concern is, let's say, for example, you have an appraisal company that right now, unfortunately, we don't have one in town. But let's say somebody starts up, they always charge landfill fees.
If there's one in town here.
There is one in
Permanent,
town.
no, if, you're saying if they start up, if I was to start an appraisal business, I live in Ely,
You'd be charged.
I'd be charged that.
So an out-of-town firm would come in and be exempt from those fees, which I believe would be a non-competitive.
And I'm not saying be exempt totally, come up with a fee
That's
that's at a
acceptable.
greatly reduced amount.
Okay. But it would have to be for all entities in that particular category.
Correct, yeah, you know, they're non-resident, they don't live here.
Mr. Chairman, what you just stated is precisely why that was passed, to level the playing field. Because local businesses for a long time were paying landfill, and out-of-town businesses
We're not.
that got a license were
That's what I'm
not.
saying, we need to be consistent with what we have to do, for sure. Yeah, and I agree, if, you know, that is an exorbitant amount of landfill fees to be paying if you're not producing landfill waste.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think the way it's worded, have the staff come up with a rate instead of $50 a month for somebody just coming in, spending the night and leaving, in my opinion, a lower rate.
More of a professional type service.
Correct, yeah. So,
Would it be easier just to collect like a high dump fee for the guys that may use it once or twice and leave town? You know, versus, you know, someone actually go to the dump, just charge them a high out-of-town fee, and then that way we don't have the issues of figuring out who's a professional and who's not. Because, you know, that kind of becomes a gray area when you have somebody that may produce trash and may not, but they may be listed as a professional company, you know, and there could be some variations there.
I think one of the deals here is the old honest Indian. You can have house appraisers coming in, inspectors coming in. We don't know who they are, maybe they're walking around the guy's house.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in and owns up to it, hey, we want to support the community because we want to come back. Well, we're gonna have this, because word of mouth then travels, and all of a sudden he's getting more business. So, I know, I believe appraiser, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even know how many appraisers are in town right now.
I don't think we have any.
Yeah, so they're coming in, I mean, they're selling houses, so we gotta get appraisals, but, again, I'm not saying they're licensed, so they're coming in under, but maybe they looked at the
So
fees.
if they have a business license, they have to pay landfill.
That's the way it
That's
is.
where that's.
Okay, so if you have a business license, but you don't have any brick and mortar business, or even a
You don't generate any
We
waste.
don't drain, but there are businesses that pay in this town that have licenses probably that don't generate any waste either, so.
But they pay.
I know, it should be some, landfill fee to me should be, if you have a brick or mortar, you think.
Physical address, yeah.
Physical address.
You know, I had somebody call me and ask about these buildings being painted around town. Would that fall under this? This is the paint just didn't fly in there. It came in cans and buckets. So they're having to.
So they're gonna have waste.
Yeah, so they're having waste.
But that's where you dissect the services between, construction and professional appraisal services. And that's where you look at the fee for the latter.
Correct.
You don't change the fee for anything.
And, you know, this agenda it would have to come back for final approval, but it would give the staff authorization to do a little research, what's being done elsewhere.
Right.
I mean, I think the city would be more advantageous to have some kind of a business license for these people that come in. That they can't be raising houses unless they have a business license, but you shouldn't penalize them to get a landfill. That might be the way the city goes forward. I mean, because it's not fair to the businessman that's here that pays a business license for somebody to come in and work.
That's correct. And most of you guys probably remember when you'd have these tool cells
Yeah.
on the corners in the armory. And those guys come in and, as bless his soul, Bob Miller would say, I never sold a tool for 2 days because part of the freight was on the corner selling them all. And they never got charged a landfill at all, so then they changed that for a traveling vendor type thing, you know. And it pretty well ended, tool shows at the armory and on every corner, they go to VFW and set it up, so. You know, it pushes some businesses away with the idea of competition, but
Can you utilize a special use permit or something to jump until a business license that can be required for some of these vendors? To be exempt for some of this stuff?
Well, in the case of the Flannery's, I mean, they wanted to build some business up here. I mean, they were well aware that there was a need for home inspections often, you know. So I think regular business license is the way to stay, yeah.
But there should be two, but for them, they're not, I mean, in a way, if they want to come up and do the inspections, but if we're going to charge them all these fees, we're not going to have that service available to the city residents. So maybe you ought to look and try to make it 2 different business licenses. I mean, different than the one, well, let's say Battleborn, because Battleborn creates garbage, so they should have one. Compared to a home occupation, I mean, inspector,
Yeah.
where they're probably not gonna, I don't think they would generate anything.
My suggestion is to keep it simple and lower the rate.
Right.
Because you need to remember that that fee is basically a maintenance assessment. It is not based on how much, I mean, for certain types of businesses it is, yes, if it's a hotel or a school district. But once you categorize those businesses, you should stick with that category. And
So what's the lowest amount of landfill fee for a business?
closed is 10. Didn't bring the rate chart.
Or maybe that's,
So professional services pay the same as homeowner?
professional don't pay anything.
The professionals in town do,
Yeah.
yes.
So we charge a lawyer that's in town, but we don't charge a lawyer that comes from out of town.
yeah.
Well, I don't think it's exemption that we're looking at.
I mean, I don't know, I guess you'd have to change it if you're doing business in the city of Ely, you need a business license regardless of which.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I like, you know, lawyer, you know, they're going to paper shredding it, it's gonna end up with the landfill. These people come in and check this off, and take off. So they're not really contributing to the maintenance of the landfill. They might only be in town for 3 hours, even if they're coming to town to stay with friends or
Yeah.
stay in one of George's Airbnbs. You know, I mean, throw the trash there, but
Yeah.
anyway, so.
You guys are bending everybody over.
So anyway,
I
that's,
think that's what we need to look at, Jim, is a description of what we're looking at.
Okay.
For lower fees.
Yeah, you definitely need to clarify it,
Yeah.
but you need to be fair to all entities concerned.
I mean, it's not, it's gonna take more than just one. I mean, I can see both sides, but I can't, I just,
Well, I hate to give an attorney a bitch.
yeah, I mean, they got. So, I mean, there's other business. Like Pat back there's filling. Fire,
You're
so
right.
somebody comes in
Yeah.
from out of town and wants to change my fire extinguisher, he doesn't have to pay any of the fees that Pat does, that's not fair. Even
I don't
though,
think it's fair. I think, if you get a business license,
Acting
that's
fire
free,
chief
is a
is
public comment.
that big deal with me. He's bigger than me.
Pat Stork, speaking as a private citizen, I don't think it's fair. I think if you got a business license, they should pay the same fees of us. I see tons of mechanical plumbing companies in town. Give you an example, Mr. Flaherty's paying all these fees. These guys come in from Salt Lake, making the same amount of money. Obviously, they could bid the job cheaper because they're not paying all the fees he's doing. I don't think it's right. They're gonna come in, they wanna do the business, they need to pay the fees, straight up. That's my opinion. I mean, I do business and, you know, these guys come in from out of town, I mean, they're paying less fees than me, it's easier for them to compete against you. So, I don't know, that's my 2 cents on it.
Thank you.
I guess one of the problems we have no way of policing these entities that are coming to town. is what-
Hire a police chief. Wouldn't cost you more than $500,000.
Did you want to say something, George? I was
Yes,
gonna
sir.
say it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, I got more. You let me know.
Yeah. Go ahead, George, if you got something to say, step on up.
Thanks.
That's what you're here for.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman has always said that your staff needs to be educated. Anyone who comes into the community, does business, needs to buy a business license, and they're charged accordingly for landfill. If they're here a month, they pay for a month. If they're here for 2 months, they pay for 2 months. But if they're here for 1 week or 1 day and they're being charged $600, your staff is bending them over.
Careful now, George, careful.
Oh, I had others, but I'm knowing that you're a religious person, I'm trying to stay within your bounds.
Yes, please do.
We need to educate your staff. You have vendors come in, they'll set up on the corner of which is now Cal Ranch. They'll buy and sell antlers, or they buy and sell rugs. Started with Hickman and got worse with Van Camp. Those people need a regular business license. They need to pay regular landfill fees, but they're given an event license. You're not collecting but maybe $10 or $15, and you've got people that are paying big money. Let me give you another example. You just gave a home occupation to an individual just across the street from Mr. Allworth. Doesn't need fire code. Doesn't have the inventory that Sports World does. I asked who collects the sales tax. When you have a business here that puts in that kind of money into the community, hires people, all you need to do, those that want to compete, is pay the same landfill fee. I'm not saying rake them over the coals, but if they're here a month, they pay for a month. Vendors who go outside the city limits to get by the city business license, they still have to pay landfill. You have an agreement with the county. Whatever that fee is, and if you're not collecting it, again, you've got staff that aren't doing their job. You're paying $500,000 or more to police protection, and all they're worried about is whether old George is renting his empty lot to a professional at the hospital, giving him a citation. That needs to stop. Clean up the staff, or get rid of it. Can't do that, you folks need to go.
Right on 3 minutes, that's pretty good, George.
I got more.
Okay. Any other discussion within the board? I do people do come in and they perform these services, and unfortunately, we have no way of policing that action. And that's, I think, one of the big factors. But my concern is if you need to be fair to all entities involved. If any entity in town is providing that service and somebody from out of town that doesn't have, is exempt from that service, then I can't support that, so. But I do believe there's some way that we need to get people to buy the business license. I'm not exactly sure how you do that. Because we're lacking on that funding too.
If I could, John, you know, the wording on this is, if there's not a business in town, somebody comes from out of town into town, you know, we covered it, you know, even non-resident business license. But if there's no business in town, you can't compare it to anything, because there's not a business in town to do that. I agree with you, if there was a house appraisal business in town, everybody would go to him, because no doubt it's probably gonna be cheaper than having somebody come up, they're gonna have to cover their motel expense and so forth. So that's why the wording on that may not be available in the city to you. If it's available, the residents are gonna use it, but because of our isolation, we may be hamstringing some of our residents. The inability to get an appraisal, it delays everything on trying to close on a house or something.
No, but those fees are passed on too. Jim. Appraisal fees are passed on. No.
True, but they don't pass on, I guess they could pass on, you know, if appraisal is $200, we're gonna hit you with a $600 landfill bill. I'm not gonna hire you then.
They're getting charged $600 for landfill. You got staff that doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, I think we need a resolution, so I'll move we approve this so they can go ahead forward and work on this.
So the intent is to come up with a plan and present it back.
Correct.
Correct.
Both entities, the utility board and the city council.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, all in favor?
All right.
Motion carries. Yeah, please provide us a plan and we'll look at it and go from there.
Thank you.
Number 4, Councilman Carson, discussion of possible action, recommendations on further landfill recommendation on future landfill tree pile processing procedures with option to include but not limited to retaining the current tree chipper contractor, purchasing a tree chipping machine, or obtain a burn permit from the Nevada Department of Environmental Protection. Kurt.
Yes, sir, I brought this forward today, looking for recommendations on what we would like to do with the tree pile. It is fairly expensive to grind it up. The big problem is we get chunks of metal in there, it ruins all the teeth, really, that we can't see, the guys can't see the metal, so kind of cumbersome. The bill that you have before you is for about 1/4 of the pile that we have up there now. So, I don't know what everybody's thoughts on it is. It's definitely cheaper to burn it. I don't know why we quit years ago, if there's complaints of smoke or what, but it is a lot cheaper to burn it, so.
But read that application, I've never seen in there where it actually said landfill.
What's that?
The environmental protection application.
Yeah.
Oh,
That you can, I mean, is the landfill, they are not exempt, they can utilize that service?
they can. Tom thought it might take a couple months to actually get the burn permit, but we can get one. He would like to do it, maybe in the spring, once a year. That sounds like. Or maybe if the guy wanted to do smaller burns, do it a couple times in the spring to kind of break it up a little bit. But the piles is kind of out of control and pretty large right now. I don't think we've chipped for a couple of years, if I'm right on that.
I see where we have to work in conjunction with the fire department, obviously, with fire.
Yeah, I don't know what they used to do you, Matt?
Yeah, used to what they did, kind of in the past seems like they just took in, you're gonna have to do this over, you don't wanna burn that whole big pile in one day,
Yeah.
obviously, but, get a permit for like a week from the EPA. Usually it's not a big deal, they just kind of, you know, bunch of paperwork to jump through more than anything, but they kind of separate the pile off into smaller sections. Burn one pile one day, the next pile, push some more out with a dozer, burn it, push some more out, and get it done, so you're not doing it all in one great big bunch, creating a big, bunch of smoke and stuff. As far as our standpoint of having to be on standby, I don't see no need in us having to be there really. I mean, we'd go look ahead of time just to make sure everything's good, but I mean, that's in a big enough, clear enough area that do it in the, you know, set it and do it in the evening right before they're ready to close, let it burn through the night, and, or do it first thing in the morning, you know. The only thing I do ask is make sure that the public's made aware of it, so we don't get inundated with 5 million phone calls. But, in the past, that's what they did. I mean, I don't know. I don't see an issue with it. I mean, most of that tree, you know, George mentioned let people go dig through it, but most of that is just branches. All the big lumber is put in a different area, so there's really no wood there that's of any people digging through and having them create more of a mess or something. I think you're better off just to separate in piles and burn it. So,
Okay, Pat. Yeah, obviously the cost saving measure for the city, really, for sure. I think one that obviously we should explore and maybe try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No plan B.
I move we, move for a burn permit.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Public comment? Very good. Move on, item number 5, Carson, discussion for possible action, recommendation to direct city staff to issue a request for proposal for metal recycling as well as other recyclable materials.
I believe our contract expires at the end of the year, so I wanted to get this in front of you guys before we're behind schedule. And I don't know if we want to go out for RFPs to see who's interested in it, or instruct our landfill superintendent to make phone calls whenever he sees fit.
I mean, that's what they used to do it, I remember, was when they got enough of one type, they would just call and get quotes and do it.
Yeah, correct. And I've always been a big fan about that too, wanted to pursue that avenue, but I did put on there for the RFPs because I thought it might be a little more transparent and not put the burden on the landfill guys out there to make the calls and select somebody. So,
Because here, if you're recycling this material, I mean, what is an average recycle? I know that varies, but are we talking 25,000, 50,000, 10,000?
yeah, I think the last one was almost 50,000, wasn't it?
And I think that justifies the.
But can you just can you have it, I mean, instead of RFP, when they decide, just call and get, so couldn't the city council just make it that when the landfill decides they need to set, they can sell it according to the highest bidder? Instead of having to go through a meeting every time, I think that'd be a waste of time.
Right.
I agree, Dale, but I mean, this public entity allows you to do that.
I don't know if it doesn't
I
matter.
mean, really?
I don't know if you
I
had,
mean,
if you had an ordinance
that says I get.
they used to do it though, I'm sure that they used to get different bids, maybe Jim can remember. He's younger.
Brain's probably shot though. Yeah, that's what the former superintendent of landfill, Rick, would do. He had 2 vendors, and he'd call them, say the pile was getting to the point where you have to push again. It was costing us manpower and equipment time to push again. So he'd make his 2 calls, and basically, I don't know if the Greenpeace or whatever it's called, Green Program's paying anything anymore, but they'd come and they'd smash it, plump it up and ship it out. Present time right now, you know, we're having to maintain that pile. We're doing the pushing on, it's getting huger and huger. The one point is, sure, we want to make money, but we're collecting it, which is doing the environment good, but we got to get it out of here too. Keep the pile on a manageable pile. And that's what Mr. Stork would do. He'd look at it, time to ship it before we'd had to get a big footprint on the ground.
And I think, a lot of that was based on metal prices and things of that nature on the size of the pile.
Yeah. Mr. Stork was looking at the prices as I was going down too.
I think if we make a motion that's contingent upon the lawyer saying it's legal to do.
Sure.
So I'll make a motion that we just, the city goes out for bids when it's appropriate,
Periodical bids.
periodical bids.
Okay.
I mean, you can do a phone call.